Right now on Good Morning America, first look, the new move by President Trump to bring down grocery prices. This time, coffee and beef are the targets. Meanwhile, stocks plunging on Wall Street. Our analyst explains why.
New images of the deadly UPS plane crash, the engine breaking off. What experts say caused this. Plus, what we're learning about this near disaster, a passenger plane crashing into a weather balloon.
President Trump accusing Democrats of seditious behavior, punishable by death, after they posted a video reminding U.S. troops not to obey illegal orders. Democrats now explain what's behind the video.
A developing story, a grizzly bear attacking a group of elementary school students.
New details about the U.S. proposal for peace in Ukraine and the commitment the U.S. would make.
A baby born weighing just 1 pound finally goes home after a year and a half in the hospital. We hear from the parents.
A shocking moment on the highway.
I just had a bald eagle drop a cat through my windshield.
A cat falling out of the sky through a woman's car.
And she's the Miss Universe contestant who walked out after a pageant official called her dumb. Now, see how she's getting the last laugh.
From ABC News, this is Good Morning America, First Look.
Good Friday morning, everyone. I'm Sophie Flay.
I'm Maggie Rulli, and we begin with the U.S. economy and a new move to bring down grocery prices.
For the second time in 1 week, the president is rolling back one of his key policies as his vice president asks Americans to be patient. Here's ABC's Andrea Fujii.
This morning, the Trump administration reversing course on more of the president's tariffs, now lifting the 40% tariff on products from Brazil, including beef and coffee, which have seen some of the steepest price increases this year. Coffee up 41%, beef up 12% to a record high.
I think it's a step in the right direction, but the main, I guess, the Super Bowl of the trade war is still with China, so we need to keep an eye on that situation too.
Just last week, the White House also rolling back tariffs on more than 200 food items, mainly produce, from 4 Central and South American countries. As many Americans continue to grapple with the cost of living, Vice President Vance is urging Americans to be patient, insisting the administration's economic policies are working.
As much progress as we've made, it's going to take a little bit of time for every American to feel that economic boom, which we really do believe is coming.
The market getting good news about the job market yesterday, but stocks plunging. Investors are worried that the good news about jobs will make the Federal Reserve less likely to cut interest rates next month.
If economic data is really strong, it kind of lessens the case for rate cuts. And so if the market doesn't get what it wants, it tends to throw a tantrum.
Investors also increasingly worried about the so-called artificial intelligence bubble, even after chipmaker Nvidia reported blockbuster profits. Meanwhile, some relief is coming for farmers hit hard by the trade war. The Trump administration now says it will announce an aid package for farmers next month. Maggie, Sophie.
Thanks, Andrea. 13 people were taken to the hospital after a pneumonia leak at a food plant in Rhode Island. Now, the leak sent ammonia vapors through the facility. 2 victims were in serious condition. And it's the latest in a series of recent ammonia leaks. Dozens were hospitalized when a truck leaked ammonia in Oklahoma last week. And earlier this month, a yellow cloud was seen after the leak at a plant in Mississippi.
Now to the new details of a doomed UPS cargo plane that crashed into a fireball. Images of the engine breaking off the jet just after takeoff. This morning, federal investigators providing the clearest look yet. At the moment, a UPS cargo plane took off from Louisville before exploding in a fireball. Surveillance photos show the plane taking off intact, but then you see the engine breaking off, catapulting upward before erupting in flames. The plane never getting more than 30 feet off the ground before crashing into an industrial area, killing 14 people, including 11 on the ground. The trail of destruction, half a mile long. The NTSB zeroing in on the 34-year-old MD-11's left pylon, the component that attaches the engine to the wing, reporting evidence of fatigue cracks in addition to areas of overstress failure.
You can't always visually identify these kinds of fatigue cracks. They're very, very fine and often takes an X-ray machine to find them.
Officials now grounding all MD-11s and DC-10s while they investigate if the problem is widespread. Also this morning, a new report on the October collision between a United Airlines flight and a weather balloon. The flight from Denver to LA striking the balloon, which is not picked up on radar at 36,000 feet. The balloon's electronic payload shattering the plane's windshield, covering the pilots in glass. The captain suffering minor injuries, but managing to land safely in Salt Lake City. But experts say this crash could have been far more serious.
If this airplane had hit the sensor package just 1 or 2 inches lower, that sensor package could have come all the way into the cockpit. All that plastic could have wrapped around the wing. It could have gotten into the engine. So this could have been much, much more serious than it actually was.
The incident raising concern about balloon flights so high, considering the speed at which passenger jets fly and the considerable damage balloons could cause at those speeds.
The company that launched that balloon says it lost contact with it shortly before the crash.
President Trump is accusing Democrats of seditious behavior punishable by death after they posted a video reminding U.S. troops not to obey illegal orders. Democrats are now explaining that video. ABC's Nicole D'Antonio has the details. Hey, Nicole, good morning.
Maggie, good morning. President Trump suggested the action of those 6 Democrats could be worthy of the death penalty. Now, the White House defending the president's statement, even as some Republicans warn it could incite violence. This morning, bipartisan blowback after President Trump accused 6 congressional Democrats of seditious behavior punishable by death.
I was a captain in the United States Navy.
Former CIA officer.
Former Navy.
The representatives, all veterans of the military or U.S. intelligence, posted this video reminding military service members that they should not obey illegal orders.
Our laws are clear. You can refuse illegal orders.
You can refuse illegal orders.
You must refuse illegal orders.
No one has to carry out orders that violate the law or our Constitution.
One of those Democrats, Senator Mark Kelly, explaining the video's message.
He has talked about sending troops into more U.S. cities. He's talked about invoking the Insurrection Act. In 2020, he went to his Secretary of Defense and he asked the question. He said, can't we just shoot these protesters in the legs? That is an example of an illegal order.
The president posting a flurry of messages saying the 6 lawmakers should be arrested and put on trial, and later reposting a message saying, hang them, George Washington would. Democrats accusing the president of inciting violence, some now beefing up their security. While criticizing the video, some Republicans also say the president's response went too far.
It stirs up people among us who may not be stable, who may think, well, traitors, what do we do with traitors? It's a death penalty. Maybe I'll just take matters into my own hands.
White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt facing this question.
Does the president want to execute members of Congress?
No. To suggest and encourage that active duty service members defy the chain of command is a very dangerous thing for sitting members of Congress to do. And they should be held accountable, and that's what the president wants to see.
Meanwhile, Leavitt also explaining another controversial comment the president recently made. Trump calling a female reporter piggy after asking him about the Jeffrey Epstein files.
The American people reelected this president because of his frankness, and he calls out fake news when he sees it. He gets frustrated with reporters when you lie about him, when you spread fake news about him.
And as for what's happening today, President Trump welcomes New York City Mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani to the White House, a man Trump has falsely called a communist. Now, Mamdani, a democratic socialist, says he's ready for anything during today's meeting. Sophie.
Nicole, thank you. The Coast Guard has issued a statement making it clear that hate symbols are not allowed. Now, those symbols include a noose, swastika, and the Confederate flag. The statement follows a Washington Post report that said a new Coast Guard policy would no longer classify them as hate symbols, but instead as potentially divisive. The Coast Guard denied the report.
Charges against a woman accused of ramming a Border Patrol vehicle in Chicago have been dropped. Her lawyer said evidence shows the agents were lying and they were the ones who swerved into the SUV driven by Marimar Martinez, a U.S. citizen who was then shot 5 times. The officer who opened fire appeared to brag about it, texting, "I fired 5 rounds and she had 7 holes. Put that in your book, boys."
New details about a U.S. proposal to end the war in Ukraine. An official says the plan would force Ukraine to give up more territory and cap the size of its military. But the plan also calls for a NATO-style security guarantee, meaning the U.S. and European allies could respond to a Russian attack with military force. President Zelensky is reviewing the plan.
Here at home, a fast-moving dust storm blew through Lubbock, Texas. The dust being pushed by 50-mile-per-hour winds The same storm system dumped up to a foot of rain in central Texas. Now, let's check your Friday forecast.
Good morning. The steady rains shifting into the Ohio Valley and Mid-Atlantic today, also getting a lot lighter. It actually gets into New York tonight, but less than an inch of rain in many cases, just some wet travel. Dry north of I-80, nice in the southeast, and then there's the southwest. Still some rain in the desert, some mountain snows going into Arizona as well. Could be some flooding in the evening hours. This is the storm that's going to move across the country Thanksgiving week. Some delays, Great Lakes to the Gulf Coast. We go into Tuesday and over to the East Coast by Wednesday. That's your forecast. I'm ABC News meteorologist Lee Goldberg. Have a great weekend.
Coming up, a bear attacks a group of elementary students.
But first, the wild police chase, officers deploying a grappling hook. What we've learned about the suspect.
And the former congressional staffer claiming she was violently attacked. Now we learn it was a hoax.
13 people had to be treated for smoke inhalation after this fire at the UN Climate Summit in Brazil. Officials believe the fire started after a generator failure or a short circuit.
Police in British Columbia, Canada say elementary school students were attacked by a grizzly bear. It happened on a trail outside a small town about 260 miles north of Vancouver. The attack on both students and teachers left 2 people in critical condition and 2 others with serious injuries. A teacher who reportedly tried to stop the bear was airlifted to a hospital.
A former congressional aide is charged with faking a politically motivated attack on herself. Natalie Green was found zip-tied in a New Jersey park with cuts all over her body. Prosecutors say she paid a body modification artist to make the lacerations. Green reportedly worked for a Republican congressman.
A wild police chase in Washington state. The suspect wanted in a double murder, and now the victim's mother is speaking out.
You killed 2 innocent boys. I hope you sleep at night with that.
Heartbreak in court as a grieving mother faces the suspect accused of killing her 2 teenage sons. 16-year-old Alex Borgen and 17-year-old Devin Borgen were gunned down last week while walking down the street in Lacey, Washington. The suspect, 20-year-old Traquan Wilson Mason, allegedly firing at the brothers more than 20 times.
My son Devin had all A's in school. He went to church. My son Alex just changed his life, had all A's, was doing good.
Officials say Wilson Mason mistakenly believed Alex was responsible for a shooting at his house. They say he, quote, became emotional after realizing he shot the wrong people. Then, this past Wednesday night, a high-speed chase reaching 117 miles per hour as police pursued a second suspect, using a grapple to hook onto the back tire, but the line snapped, then hitting the vehicle to stop it, flipping it over. They say the man behind the wheel, 20-year-old Jaden Johns, provided the murder weapon and was driving during last week's drive-by shooting. Both suspects now face charges of first-degree murder. Wilson Mason was previously charged with assault in a separate case this year.
Why wasn't he locked up before? Why did they let somebody like that loose? He was violent.
The suspects are due back in court next week to enter a plea.
Coming up, a woman is driving down the highway when a cat dropped by an eagle comes crashing through her windshield. Her call to 911.
Such a wild story. I would also head a baby born weighing just 1 pound finally goes home.
Okay, you may not believe me, but I just had a bald eagle drop a cat through my windshield, and it absolutely shattered my windshield.
Yeah, that's a woman in North Carolina calling police saying an eagle flying over the highway dropped a cat it had picked up. The driver is okay. Sadly, the cat did not make it. One witness said it was the craziest thing they've ever seen.
Yeah, no kidding. Right, a shortage of nurses nationwide could soon get worse. Critics warn a provision in the so-called Big Beautiful Bill eliminates the program that allows graduate students to borrow the full cost of attendance. Critics say the drop in access to full funding will dissuade people from seeking high-level nursing degrees.
Now to the baby born weighing only 1 pound, finally home this morning.
Meet Leah Monteus, the 18-month-old finally home this morning after spending her entire life in a New York hospital. Last year, Leah was born 16 weeks early and weighed just a little more than 1 pound. For the past year and a half, her parents rarely left her side as doctors nursed her to health.
It's going to be amazing. We're looking forward to waking up with our daughter. We're looking forward for Leah to be around the house.
Leah has been treated for a heart defect, a brain bleed, and lung disease. Doctors slowly weaned her off a breathing tube while she underwent physical, occupational, and feeding therapy. Leah's personality emerging despite the medical challenges. Among her favorite things, dancing and having her hair done.
She's just so strong, and I feel like that's a testament to all of this. She's so strong, she wants to be here.
For the medical staff who spent 18 months with Leah, sending her home was emotional.
This is a year and a half of being in a hospital. Doctors telling you all sorts of scary things about your child. It's a real honor.
She's going to do great things.
Leah will continue with outpatient therapy, but she did just hit a milestone. After being born at 24 weeks, she went home weighing 24 pounds.
On Thursday Night Football, the Bills took the lead against the Texans on a 97-yard kickoff return for a touchdown, but the Texans answered right back with a touchdown of their own, and their defense did the rest, sacking Josh Allen 8 times. The Texans won 23-19. All right, coming up, what happened when a horse walked into a Walmart?
Plus, a record price for this historic comic book. Time to check the pulse. We begin with a big victory for a beauty contestant who sparked a moment of solidarity.
This was great. Miss Mexico has been crowned Miss Universe 2025. Tima Bosch made headlines when she stood up to a pageant organizer who publicly scolded her, calling her dumb. Bosch walked out. Many of her competitors followed her.
That official apologized after being reprimanded, and now Bosch is Miss Universe.
Yay.
Next, a new way to see Princess Diana in a very famous dress.
You'll recognize this. It can now be seen at a wax museum in Paris. It's the late princess wearing what became known as her revenge dress. She first wore it the night Charles admitted to having an affair. Next, the highest price ever paid for a comic book.
It's called Superman #1, and it just sold for $9 million.
Wow.
It was published in 1939 and spent decades stored in an attic between newspapers.
Such a great find.
Yes. Next, a bizarre scene at a Walmart in Louisiana.
Yeah, check this out. A man was spotted walking to the store with a horse. Now, he didn't leave the horse to water. Instead, they made a beeline for, of course, the beer aisle and grabbed a six-pack.
The man saying it's his emotional support animal. And finally, an athlete's got to eat, right?
And sometimes you just need a snack during a game or during a show, so check out Josh Hart of the Knicks.
Josh Hart dives for it and is now hugging the fan, making sure he's okay. Hart's taking some peanut M&Ms from him.
M&M's from a fan. Love it.
Checking more top stories, the Trump administration is lifting more of the president's tariffs, this time on beef and coffee from Brazil. Meanwhile, Trump is facing criticism from people in his own party for threatening Democrats who released a video to U.S. troops reminding them not to follow orders from Trump if they're illegal.
New details about the death of a Florida teenager on a cruise ship. An attorney involved in a separate family dispute confirmed the teen's stepbrother is a suspect and was hospitalized after the cruise. Still no word on the cause of death.
The government has released a new crash test dummy designed to make cars safer for women. It more accurately represents the female body than the standard dummy.
A Frida Kahlo painting has been sold for just under $55 million, the highest amount ever paid at auction for an artwork by a female artist.
Today's weather, rain from the East Coast to the Rockies, the heaviest in the Midwest, and lingering rain and snow in California.
And finally, a holiday scent in the New York subway.
Here's Danny New.
We are at Grand Central, but we're going down to its subway station where apparently it smells like fresh forest air. For the rest of November, Grand Central subway station is trying out something new, unleashing a smellable advertisement. Whoa. When you get off the subway, now you are hit with a holiday scent from Bath & Body Works called Fresh Balsam, which may give you the aroma of vanilla and pine. It's coming through those boxy diffusers, and through the end of the month, Bath & Body Works says it will disperse between 20 and 30 pounds of fragrance. What do we smell?
Smelling a slightly fresher New York subway.
Okay, but what does the often opinionated New York population think about changing the smell of their daily commute? What does it usually smell like?
I don't think I'm allowed to say that on ABC.
Do it. We'll bleep it anyway.
Like
Okay, that was a little too far. Many seem to be in favor of these contraptions, especially when compared to the usual fragrance emitters that can frequent the subway stations.
What do subway stations usually smell like? Eye roll. They smell like an eye roll.
Others, though, were not in favor of being forced to smell something mysterious.
No, it just adds another gross layer of some weird thing that you can't exactly describe.
But really, as you would expect in New York City, everyone kind of had a different opinion.
I love the Victoria's Secret bobs.
Whoa, okay.
Like foods. I was thinking cookie, but I think it's foods.
So somewhere between cookie and Victoria's Secret.
And guys, the Metropolitan Transportation Authority says that while this is the first time they've done something like this, they did test it out in Queens and Brooklyn last year to get feedback. My feedback? Not bad.
Thanks, Danny. That's your Good Morning America first look.
Favorite scent?
Ooh, that's hard. Peppermint?
Have a good day.